The rain fell softly over Beijing that night, casting a gray haze over the neon-lit streets. Inside a quiet apartment in Chaoyang district, Menglong sat alone by the window, staring at the city that had once embraced him. The air smelled faintly of alcohol, a bitter reminder of the coping mechanisms he had long relied upon. Fame had kissed him with glittering hands, but now it seemed to tighten around his throat, suffocating, inescapable. Menglong's life was the sort that inspired dreams in countless fans across Asia. His smile lit up stages, and his voice carried the warmth of hope. He had risen from a modest upbringing in Urumqi to the dazzling lights of television and music. Yet, behind that smile was a quiet desperation that few understood. Every morning, Menglong awoke to a world that expected perfection. Fans demanded it. Agencies demanded it. Even the cameras seemed to thirst for it. Behind the scenes, he faced pressure that most outsiders could never comprehend, grueling schedules, auditions that turned into moral tests, and the ever-present whispers of jealousy and betrayal. It wasn't just the workload. It was the constant calculation of trust. Who could be relied upon? Which friend smiled at him genuinely, and which smiled while counting the ways to climb over him? In an industry where favors were currency and loyalty was rare, you began to see the cracks in every interaction. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more touching K-drama stories and emotional news-style narratives. The apartment was silent except for the soft hum of the city. Menglong poured himself another drink, the glass trembling in his hands. He remembered the people he had trusted, the contracts signed with promises of support, and the hidden debts that came with fame. Some nights, the isolation was so profound it felt physical, like the walls themselves were closing in. He thought about the messages he had received that day, cryptic notes from agents hinting at deals that went against his conscience, reminders of favors owed, veiled threats dressed as encouragement. The industry could be cruel, and he had seen friends fall victim to the same pressures, their careers and spirits broken in quiet despair. That night, Menglong felt the cumulative weight of betrayal. A producer he had once trusted, someone who had promised him a career-defining role, had asked him to compromise his values in exchange for favor. It wasn't a subtle request. It was an ultimatum: bend or be broken. The injustice, the suffocating nature of fame, and the sense that every move was surveilled by both friends and rivals alike, became too much. He wrote in his journal, a practice he had started in his early teens, "I am tired of pretending. I am tired of smiling while my soul bleeds." Every word was a cry he could not voice aloud, an echo in the empty apartment that would soon become the stage for his final act. Around 2 a.m., Menglong locked himself in a room to gather his thoughts. He stared at the city lights, reflecting on a life that had seemed so promising. He remembered the applause, the laughter, the fleeting moments of pure joy that fame occasionally afforded. But those moments were fragile, easily shattered by the shadows of greed, jealousy, and manipulation that lurked behind every corner. Hours passed. The world outside remained oblivious to the turmoil inside. By 6 a.m., he had stepped out of the room, a final decision resting heavy in his chest. What led him to the window remains unknown to the public, though the tragedy that followed was indisputable. Menglong fell. The city that once celebrated him would never again see the spark of his presence. News of his death shocked fans across the world. Social media lit up with mourning, speculation, and sorrow. Some remembered him for his talent, others for his kindness. But beneath the outpouring of grief, questions lingered: what had truly driven him to that final moment? Official statements framed the tragedy as an accidental fall after drinking. Authorities confirmed that no foul play had been determined. Yet, whispers of industry pressure, manipulation, and unseen coercion lingered in the minds of those who had followed his career closely. His mother's words were simple, yet haunting: "He was my son. He was talented. He deserved to be safe and happy." But even these words could not undo the loss. Menglong's story is a tragic reminder of the duality of fame. On the outside, he lived a life that many envied. On the inside, he wrestled with isolation, fear, and moral compromise. The public rarely sees the pressure that stars endure, the constant balancing act between personal integrity and professional survival. He fell out of love not with a person, but with a system. He lost faith in the environment that had promised dreams but delivered chains. The smiles, the applause, the bright lights, they all became part of a gilded cage. Even in death, Menglong continues to inspire reflection. His career remains a testament to talent and perseverance. His struggles remind the public that behind the glamour lies a world of silent suffering, moral dilemmas, and invisible battles. Fans leave flowers at the sites of his dramas, post messages online, and recall his performances with bittersweet nostalgia. In these acts, his life is remembered not just for its tragedy, but for the beauty he brought into the world, the laughter, the songs, the moments of connection that will endure. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more touching K-drama stories and emotional news-style narratives. The story of Menglong is more than the story of a life cut short. It is a warning to society, an insight into the costs of fame, and a meditation on human vulnerability. It asks, how much pressure can one's soul endure before the facade cracks? How can we support those in the spotlight, who smile while their hearts silently fracture? Though Menglong is gone, the questions remain. And perhaps, in seeking answers, the world will learn to look beyond the glitter and recognize the fragility of the human spirit behind every star. Menglong's life was a brilliant flame, shining brightly until it was extinguished. His death was not only a loss of talent but also a somber reflection on a world where ambition and exploitation collide. He fell out of love not with life itself, but with the compromises and betrayals that fame demanded. In remembering him, we honor both his artistry and his struggle. And we are reminded, painfully, that behind every smile is a story, sometimes beautiful, sometimes heartbreaking, but always human. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more touching K-drama stories and emotional news-style narratives.